you guys could have done differently?
I mean, you can, we had, they scored 25 points off turnovers. We were able, I thought it was one of our best offensive games. We really moved the ball. We were able to build a 13-point lead with, 7.5 to go. And, they hurt us in transition. And we gave them not only the three-pointers, but we gave them 3 and 1s, which were fouling. And so, they had 6 3-pointers, I think, in the second half. Well, they really had 9, with the and 1s. And so, we've got to do a better job. I felt like we just, you just, sometimes you can get a little numb in the mind sometimes and break down, and next thing you know, they get confidence, and you got to give them credit too. I mean, they made, I think it was 5 3-pointers in a 3-minute period. It's a little bit of us and a little bit of them too, of really good players making shots. But we've got to do a better job of that. We've got to do a better job with Tinkle in the paint, and if we can do those 2 things, not turn the ball over, 25 points off turnovers when it's really not a pressure team that's just being careless sometimes with the ball. So those are a couple things that we need to be able to do.
Is it a one or the other proposition as it comes to Tinkle and the perimeter?
Not really. I think you just got to limit. I mean, Tinkle's a good player. He's going to get points. You just can't let him have 29. And he's a good player. Both the Thompson brothers are really good players. Eubank's a good player. It's always about limiting their percentages. The 3 ball is something that we've been really good defending. They were 9 for 19 or 9 for 18 in the game. You got to do a better job there, and then we got to do a better job in the middle. We did a good job in the first half. That's where they scored 30 points, and our percentages were at our numbers. It was really the 7.5-minute mark to the end of the game. They were the best offensive team in the country for a 7.5-minute period. So, hopefully we can execute better in that area and play well. Do it better.
Mike, it's kind of foreign territory for everybody involved. Even
Sure.
the returning players to be 19 and 10, have all these possibilities. How do you stay singularly focused on Thursday night?
It's hard, to be honest with you. I just told you when we were in California, I said I called it the tabloids, and he says, tabloids? I said, well, yeah, because it's kind of like everybody has a prediction, but no one really knows other than the people in the committee, and you get so consumed with it that you lose focus. And, it's like I was sitting there going, I was just telling a friend, I go, as a coach, you need to be able to practice what you're trying to tell your guys, eliminate interference and focus, and you're over there going, geez, well, look at their resume, look at their resume. And at the end of the day, the only thing that you can control is, us being ready and us winning as many games as we can in a row. I mean, we've got 2 regular season games left. If, you could have, 3 or 4 more games left in the tournament based on how we do in these next 2 games. And, we've just got to focus in this game. How can we play? How can we beat this team? And that's a hard thing to do with what's happening. But you got to do your best that you can to stay singularly focused.
Mike, as I'm going opposite of that now with the singularly focused, but just trying to maybe use this weekend to get potential going into that. Is that something that you kind of preach to your players?
Well, I just think, it goes back to that game. Like, let's be focused. And, I told him yesterday, I'm like, listen, I'd be lying to tell you that these 2 games aren't critical, and I'm done. Like, we got to play. This is real. This is, this is the last 2 games. Senior night, you want to have a great, you want to be playing your best basketball. I don't know if this is the case, but sometimes, teams will play to prove something, and then you play to protect something. You can't win when you're trying to protect something. The only way you can win is by that gritty proving something. And I think that's not to say that that's what it is, but as a coach, that's what you're trying to figure out, all these different possibilities. And you go back to the same thing. What can you control? Well, Matisse, you can control your being the best defender on planet Earth because you are. And you can be more disciplined when you see Thompson up top. And David, decision making. You come over here. We're not going to make that again. No, this is where you were good. This is where you got to play better defense in areas, and that's what works. If they can take that, focus on that, get better at that, and now go and execute it. That's what's going to take for us to be talked about and win games, bottom line, not us just rambling back and forth.
even though the results have been mixed the last few weeks, Mike, do you still feel like ultimately that bottom line mantra of continuing to make progress every day and every week, is that, do you still feel like that's taking place?
There's no question. That's our philosophy. That's what we've been doing. You know, it's a hard thing to do, but it's what we're doing.
Couple more, guys.
You feel like, I mean, but despite sometimes some mixed results, you still feel like.
Yeah. I just think there's so many, you know, like, listen, these kids, you know, it's a long season. It's a demanding season. You know, being a student athlete, you know, you're working a full-time / part, whatever the hours are in a week that you're investing in it. There's travel, there's this, there's the pressures. You know, there's life, there's girlfriend, there's academics, there's just so many different things that play into it, and all you're trying to do is keep them fresh. Sometimes it's not physical exhaustion, sometimes it's mental exhaustion. Sometimes less is more. You know, those are all the things that we're playing with every day when the coaching staff is sitting here and saying, okay, how do we plan this week? What are we going to do right now to get the best out of these guys? And, you know, and that's what we try to do to become, and then what do we got to do to get better defensively? You know, this team has 5 shooters. This team has 2 shooters. This is where we have to adjust. This is where we're going to focus in on practice. And then it goes back to here's the game plan. We've proven we work. Now it's a matter of those guys going out and executing. Same. So, yes. Long answer, but same thing.
Notice that the season went by kind of fast for him, and looking back on it, you know, obviously you guys spent first year together. How do you look back on the season? Did it go by fast for you? How would you look
Time
back?
flies when you're having fun, right? And so, you know, it's a long season, but these kids have accomplished a lot. And winning's fun. Losing's horrible. And, you know, these guys have accomplished a lot. I'm really, really proud of them. But it goes back to the same thing. It's, you know, in life, just my dad, who is a successful businessman, used to always say, you know, if you have to always be evolving. Your competition is always evolving. You know, you always have to be moving forward. You know, you constantly have to do that or you're going to die. You know, it's just, you slide back. And so, you know, that's why our philosophy is always moving forward. And you know, we've won. Now it's almost like reestablishing. You know, we have to get to different areas. You know, how much can we push them? We're late. But I know we can watch more film and we can learn from that. We can execute better. And, you know, if a kid's not feeling confident, we can work on the side trying to give them more confidence, maybe work individually more than the team part. But, yeah, always moving forward.
I'm talking just a little bit with some of the stuff. I don't know if you saw the stuff with Nate Robinson today and the investigation. Does it feel like we're moving into a new era in college athletics, where just with social networking and everyone can tell their story, that it just?
You know, ask me that question in a couple weeks or 3 weeks, 4 weeks when the season's over, and I'll have a better answer where I can study it, because I think, you know, you see the stuff going on, and again, I try to be entrenched. It goes back to what I was telling you earlier. I mean, I try to focus on this, and I get so consumed on this and that, and you know, I don't know how to answer that. I think we are. I mean, it's the digital era of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's changed. I think we're still learning about it. I think there's still studies on how it affects children. I mean, it hasn't been here long enough. I mean, you know, my son will be over the dinner table and he's just over here doing that. You know, you know, there's effects of those types of things, and I think those are all instances of these extra stories. You know, like someone had asked me today, and I'll leave with this. So actually, they were asking me on a radio show this morning about what's going on in college basketball, and I said, well, you know, everybody's talking about this tape of Sean Miller. Well, where is it? Has anybody listened to it? But he can't coach because somebody said that it exists. I mean, that's when I talk about like the social media aspect. And again, I'm not judging. If it is, he shouldn't be coaching. But if it's not, like, where is it? Where is it? What is it? Well, because Twitter says some guys came out and said, well, there's this tape, and he's caught. Well, you know, again, that's just me, but I'd love to hear it, right? I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, now they might have it, and it's a secret deal, but I mean, listen, he can't coach because somebody says there's something out there that, and again, if it exists, I've got, you know, it's like I told you, the moon, the sun, and the truth. There's 3 things that come out. But it's hard for me to believe that a guy doesn't coach because of an accusation, and there's, no one in the administration, no one in the NCAA has heard it. I mean, am I crazy? Is that crazy? Right? I mean, if that was happening to you, I'd be kind of upset. When you'd be like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, So, until there's actual facts on the table, and there's actual proof in these things, you can't do that. You shouldn't do it. You can't. It's against the rules. If it's against the rules, you need to be punished for it. But let's, I'd like to see I want to see the facts. Does that make, I don't know.
Makes sense. Thanks, Coach.
Go Dogs!